I'm Tom Hantke. I served as executive director for the Connecticut section PGA. I think I stepped on the golf course for the first time in 1965. Was caddying. The skill development of working on the game yourself and repetition of practice was attractive to me. Playing golf and then seeing golf professionals and perhaps seeing a livelihood that could be pursued.
Growing up the youngest of 5 along the Erie River in Pennsylvania, Tom knew early on that he had a passion for golf. That passion led to a playing career that began with local games with friends, a junior PGA championship victory, and a runner-up finish in the NCAAs. Still unsure of his future plans, family friend George Murphy drove young Tom down to Florida and set him up with a job at Dunedin Country Club, previous home of the PGA of America. There, Tom worked as a green grass professional, soaking up everything he could about the golf profession.
So at Dunedin Country Club there in 1981 and 1982, there was a number of retired golf professionals. You just gleaned from them and their careers at that time. You go, well, I loved golf and I loved the game, I loved the history of it, and I liked writing about it, reading about it. From there I went to Maryland and Chartwell Country Club, and George Jakovics was the golf professional, and George said to me, he goes, well, can you commit your life to golf? And I looked at him like I said, oh, I don't know, that's a pretty daunting question to think about. I just remember the early golf professionals and all that. I said, yeah, I know that golf is going to be my rudder in my life, and it's going to keep me on course. From there, went to the Mid-Atlantic PGA, worked in the tournaments and communications, which I enjoyed. So began writing newsletters. It wasn't only Bill Strasbaugh, but it was John Haynes, it was Jim Folks, it was Rod Thompson, it was Wayne Holly, and then later it was Frank Lauber. All of them were mentoring me and giving me counsel on their lives and their jobs and how their businesses operated. They were going to be the first ones to hire and retain a club relations director. I had an opportunity to get elevated into that role, and I think that was a turning point for me and solidified my path going forward. During that time as well, Chris Hunkler from the PGA of America invited me to be a part of the educational faculty at the business schools to teach the bottom line approach.
In 1993, Tom landed the job as executive director of the Connecticut section, beginning a 30-year run of unparalleled accomplishments. Not wasting any time, Tom worked long days to bring the section up to snuff. He grappled with the section finances, developed staff, and cataloged decades of section history, all while keeping the membership at the forefront of his duties.
There's probably in the 30 years 4,000 or 5,000 golf professionals that have been affiliated with the Connecticut section, and each one you want to welcome and you want to help them feel a part of the Connecticut section. I worked with 16 presidents. The president is the one who represents the members, speaks to them on behalf of the members. So I was, share with them any of my institutional knowledge or anything that I thought could help them excel in their role, and I enjoyed working with each and every one of them.
You taught me an awful lot about being an involved member, first and foremost. What's it like to be on the committee? And then you were definitely a part of my success as I became the president of the Connecticut section.
I learned so much from you during my time on the board as an officer, talking about the business of golf, the changing role of the golf professional, the opportunities that we had.
Tom was responsible for bringing the Connecticut section PGA into the 21st century. Organized leader and someone who believes in the statement, you're only as good as your staff. You were always open to moving them upward and onward, and that's something you should be very proud of. In my opinion, you are one of the best EDs in the country, and the Connecticut section should be proud and thankful for everything you've done for us.
In late 1993, we didn't really have any financials. The Connecticut section was in debt. It didn't have any assets to speak of. So that was one of the first things that we had to get a hold of and determine what our budget was and how we were going to pay. We had very few revenue sources. Dues was basically it at that time. And then also there was really not tremendous record keeping, as you can imagine, in the first 60 years. Is you've just passed over the records from briefcase to briefcase, and it became file cabinet to file cabinet. I think we're in good order right now. I think the combined revenues, the combined net assets for the section and the foundation are close to 1.5 million.
In 1995, along with PGA members Gary Reynolds, Frank Selva, and Rich Crow, Tom helped found the Connecticut section PGA Golf Foundation as a way to enhance the perception of PGA professionals in the community. Primarily supporting Special Olympics and junior golf at the time, Tom met with members of the Raceway Golf Club to secure a $100,000 donation made on behalf of deceased PGA member Jack Kelly. This donation laid the groundwork for future fundraising initiatives such as the Charity Classic and the Drive for the Game campaign. The foundation has since gone on to underwrite the section's junior golf tour, PGA Hope, and award over $1 million in financial grants. As time went on, the section operation began to expand, and Tom led the way through his training and development of staff, many of whom he mentored and guided into prominent positions. Though he accomplished much during his tenure, his stewardship of the staff might have been towards the top of his personal list of accomplishments.
Learn from your staff what their interests are, what their strengths are, and put them in that lane and let them enjoy their role. For me to allow them to grow and to develop was probably, in the last decade of my service, was the most enjoyable part to see.
He worked tirelessly over the years, usually being the first one into the office and the last one to leave. Working on weekends wasn't uncommon. He gave 100% to the golf business. I watched as Tom brought the section along as the world changed, and Tom kept up with it all and made sure that the staff had the tools and the training to keep up with it too, and all in the interest of the membership. It was a pleasure and an honor to work with you and to learn from you all those years.
In addition to his contributions to the staff, Tom's role and tenure put him in a position to guide the board and the membership, many of whom speak to the role that Tom played in their own career development.
I especially have enjoyed working with you on the Connecticut PGA Golf Foundation, and your leadership has been exemplary.
Tom, you were so incredibly respected by PGA professionals, by allied associations, and everyone who has been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to cross your path. You were there, you stood by my side when I ran for office, you helped me to get through it all, you supported me my entire time.
Even when I was running for secretary, you were always there to answer my questions, and you know, your section has always been at the forefront of innovation and the things that you guys are doing, and that's because of your leadership.
You have been a progressive thinker and visionary with a broad view of the game and business of golf, a highly skilled developer of talent with an amazing ability to nurture people to excel in the workplace. You have mentored hundreds of PGA members and associates.
On a national scale, Tom was part of 2 PGA of America secretary campaigns, one of which being the successful Susie Whaley campaign. During her time as an officer, Tom served on the Executive Director Committee, ultimately chairing the committee in 2019 and 2020.
You also supported me by putting a thought in my head about being a part of leadership, about being in governance. Sometimes it takes somebody else to see you in a role for you to actually think about being in that role. And you, Tom Hantke, did that for me. I would not have been president of the PGA of America if not for you.
Always forward-thinking, Tom orchestrated the first ever golf course business consulting agreement in 2014 with the City of Hartford's 2 abandoned golf courses, Keeney Park and Goodwin Park. As part of the agreement, Tom and a task force of section golf professionals guided the city through the RFP process and helped establish the Golf Course Commission. By 2016, the once dilapidated buildings and overgrown golf courses were rejuvenated, and the efforts led to the revitalization of golf in Hartford. Within 2 years of opening, Keeney Park was recognized as the number 2 public golf course in Connecticut. In addition, the first ever PGA of America National Championship held in the Connecticut section took place in 2019, and the Boys and Girls Junior PGA Championships were played at Keeney Park Golf Course. To help support the event, Tom and the foundation led a successful business patron program that helped raise over $35,000. Tom was then able to use the platform as a springboard to launch the Golf Course Business Symposium, an annual summit for golf course business leaders to share information and grow the business of golf. Tom has never been afraid to think outside of conventional thought and has been quick to adapt and evolve with the golf business. His passion for the members and the section has been evident in his commitment to his position over the years.
Looking back, I am so thankful and grateful for all the experiences that I encountered in my career. Enjoyed being a part of the development of the Connecticut Senior Open and what we've done to help the town of Groton and the Shinnecock Golf Course. Involvement of certain championships of the Connecticut section and building up the history of those events and the prestige of those events. That was our enjoyment when being with most of the members when they were at the events or at the meetings. I remember so many of the travels with our officers to PGA annual meetings, as well as some of the staff travel will always be a joyous remembrance for me. I think some of those times were the most special. I enjoyed it tremendously for the entire 30 years. It went by so fast.
Tom has dedicated his life to the PGA of America and enhancing the lives of its membership. He knows what golf offers in people's lives, the values and moral codes that can enhance you in aspects of your lives. He appreciates that golf can kindle relationships that can last the length of time.
One thing that drove me when I was young was an opportunity to be purposeful in a career. And I wanted to work hard, and I think the Connecticut Section PGA gave me that opportunity, and I look back and I'm forever grateful for that.
There may be no singular person who has ever given more to the section than Tom Hantke, a consummate professional, ahead of his time, the quintessential Hall of Famer.